Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with my penultimate top 5 video celebrating my favorite movies of 2024. Real quick, a couple of congratulations. Erin had the Golden Globes were last night. Demi Moore won Best Actress for The Substance, very, very deserved. Colin Farrell won his third Golden Globe for The Penguin. Finally got around to watch this show like just this last week. Real good show. And The Brutalist really overperformed, winning Best Picture, Director, and Actor last night. I had a chance to see The Brutalist on Christmas Day, but I opted out because I just don't want to watch a 4-hour movie on Christmas Day. And one more congratulations, but I'll get into that during my list. So number 5, I'd say Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed in The Heretic. And this Grant plays a serial killer who holds 2 young Mormon girls captive while he sadistically torments them and forces them to play twisted games to save their own lives. Hugh Grant was so good in this. I mean, it really helps that he had a terrific script too, but completely not the kind of character actor you think you'd get a role for this, and he does exactly what you would want him to do in something like this. There's none of these big outbursts of sudden anger. And there's no him sinister staring down into the camera or maniacal laughter. He spends the whole thing, quite the proper, polite gentleman that he's always been known to be. He's that guy, but he's gonna kill you. He's really, really terrific. The only reason he's quite so low on this list was I kind of struggled with whether or not he's a lead or supporting. I kind of went with lead because that's what he's been getting nominated for. He's got nominated for Golden Globe, but then got nominated for was it a SAG award? Or I think maybe been a Critics' Choice. But he's getting nominations for it, for lead, so that's what I went with for. He's great in it. Terrific movie. Number 4, I would say, and I changed this one up at the very last minute. Number 4 would be Gabriel LaBelle as Lorne Michael in Saturday Night. I mean, once I got more and more thinking about it, the guy I ended up cutting was really good. I mentioned him in the honorable mentions. But, LaBelle, the movie doesn't really work unless he's on. You know what I mean? He's I mean, as you know, it's the last 30 minutes before the first airing of Saturday Night Live, and absolutely everybody needs Lorne's ear. Costumes, critics, censors, executives, writers, a cast, legal department. Everybody needs to lighting. Everybody needs to talk to Lorne, and while the minutes are just ticking down, and every moment is so critical, and it's just such an entertaining and wild movie. Number 3, I'd say David Dastmalchian as Jack Delroy in Late Night with the Devil. This is really a trippy horror movie. The whole setup here is one Halloween night during the 1970s. A late night talk show host, desperate for ratings, takes a big risk by trying to interview a possessed teenage girl, and of course it just works out swimmingly. Dastmalchian's been an actor. He's been around for nearly 20 years. You've seen this guy before. You've probably seen 10 movies you've seen him in, if you don't know what his name is. Finally got a chance to play a lead role here, and the guy just absolutely swung for the fences. You can see a lot of his cadence and body language and mannerisms. He watched a lot of old Carson, but used it at the same time to let his own personality come out and come through. Really, really good performance, and a really underrated and fun horror movie. Second place, switched up at the very last minute, but this is the congratulations in order. He just won a Golden Globe last night for this, and he's absolutely great. Sebastian Stan in A Different Man. In A Different Man, he plays Edward and Guy, a man with severe facial deformities. He's a struggling actor, decides to undergo an experimental procedure that will give him a completely new face. After it's a complete success, he goes all in. He fakes his death, and he changes his name. When all of a sudden, the role he was born to play comes up, and just all the bitterness and the resentment and this should have been mine all starts to boil to the surface. It's a very humorous, very exhilarating, very funny humorous, but it's at times very frightening performance. Sebastian Stan is excellent in this movie, one of the best performances of his career, and he's been on a hell of a roll lately. with Pam and Tommy. Even that's a show I found out recently that Hulu did some shady shit on that show. Uh, but it was terrific in I, Tonya and in Fresh, and he's great in this. The reason I had to drop him down to number 2 because even after winning the award for this last night, if he's nominated for an Oscar, it's going to be for The Apprentice, the stupid Trump movie. He's good in that. Jeremy Strong's really good in that. But look, man, it is just one-dimensional, shameless propaganda. I don't think Dennis Quaid should be nominated for Reagan either, because it's just one-dimensional, shameless hero worship. This is not what you nominate people for Oscars for, in my opinion. It's just, you're pissed Trump won. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So you're just going to nominate a guy just for playing Trump instead of on the merits of his art, which the better performance this year and the better movie was A Different Man. But that's not what they're going to nominate him for, if they nominate him at all. Anyhow, and number 1, my winner is Ralph Fiennes as Cardinal Thomas Lawrence in Conclave. Ralph Fiennes is one of the greatest actors alive, and the fact that he hasn't been nominated for an Oscar in 28 years is kind of shocking to me. In this, he's a cardinal who, at the same time, he's kind of going through a personal crisis of faith. He is put in charge of the conclave to gather all the cardinals from around the world and sequester them indefinitely until they can decide on who should be the new pope. 1 second. Anyhow, this film required a lot of patience and craftsmanship and maturity, and all around you needed great, experienced actors, and that's what they got with Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow and Isabella Rossellini. But the heart of this movie, 1 second. All right. Just had to have 2 kids, didn't I? One wasn't bad enough. Anyhow, my point was getting to this is just a terrific role and a great performance, and really, without an actor like Ralph Fiennes, it wouldn't have been able to be pulled off. And my honorable mentions, I'll run through them real quick. Ryan Gosling is terrific in The Fall Guy, a stuntman who's been framed for murder. Anthony Hopkins is great as always in One Life. It's a true story about one of the most cathartic moments in the history of television. Nicholas Hoult, who was going to be my nominee, but I really wanted to get Gabriel Bell in there, as a juror in juror number 2, as a juror in a murder trial, who realizes that the man on trial was innocent because he's the real killer. Glenn Powell just had a breakout year, especially with Twister's big, huge hit that nobody was expecting, nobody saw coming. Him playing this cowboy scientist. We're gonna find out if you can set off fireworks in a tornado. It was really entertaining. That Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie star of the year, and finally Justice Smith. And I saw the TV Glow. I was kind of, it was all right when I first saw that film, but that's a movie that's really stayed with me over the last few months, and I've seen it at least once since, maybe twice since. But it was a good movie. That's a good movie, and Justice Smith's a very haunting performance in this. Lots of long fourth wall breakings where there's like almost no emotion coming from his face or his voice or his eyes. He's just telling you what happened, and it's terrific movie, interesting film all around. Anyhow, one more of these to go. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.